Hospital Waste Management: How to Protect Health and Environment. Let the waste of the sick not contaminate the lives of the healthy. شعارنا في هذا الموضوع: لا تسمح لمخلفات المرضى إنها تؤثر على حياة الأصحاء. What hospital waste mean? Are the wastes produced in the course of healthcare activities during treating, diagnosis and immunizing a human being or animals or while doing study research activity. يعني هي باختصار كل المخلفات اللي بتنتج من القطاع الصحي، سواء المراكز الصحية العلاجية ومراكز التطعيم وبنوك التبرع بالدم ومراكز البحث والدراسة زي المختبرات. أقسام مخلفات المشفى: General Waste، وهي تعتبر Non-Hazardous، يعني هي غير خطرة على صحة الإنسان، ونسبتها من ضمن مخلفات المشفى من 75 إلى 80%. من أمثلتها ورق المكاتب ومخلفات الطعام. وعندنا البايوميديكال ويست، وهي تعتبر hazardous، يعني هي خطرة على صحة الإنسان لأنها ممكن تنقل infection وتزيسز إذا ما تم التعامل معها بطريقة صحيحة، ونسبتها من ضمن مخلفات المشفى من 10 إلى 25%. وطبعا نوع المخلفات بيعتمد على نوع الخدمات اللي بيقدمها المشفى. على حسب تصنيف منظمة الصحة العالمية، الهوسبيتال ويست يصنف ل9 أقسام: General Waste, Pathological Waste, Sharps, Infection Waste, Chemical Waste, Radioactive Waste, Pharmaceutical Waste, Pressurized Container, Genotoxic Waste، واللي حندرسهم بالتفصيل وطريقة التعامل المناسبة لكل نوع مع زميلاتي.
طرق التخلص الآمن وهو الجنرال ويست، تشمل النفايات غير الملوثة such as paper, plastic and food scraps. من مخاطره exposure, environmental pollution and pest infestation leading to health hazards. أما طرق التخلص الآمن عنه فهو placed in black bags or regular waste bins. الثانية dispose of like household waste via landfilling or recycling. تاني نوع infectious waste includes تشمل blood, soaked bandages, used syringes and needles, contaminated surgical tools, disposed human tissue, infected IV tubes. أما مخاطرها spread of disease through contact air or contaminated surface. Disposal method: placed in yellow bags or yellow container for infectious medical waste. Transport to medical waste incinerators at high temperature to ensure complete microbial destruction. Can also be autoclaved وتعقيمها عبر الأوتوكلاف before disposal as general waste if no hazardous chemical are present. Sharp waste include needles, scalpels and contaminated broken glass. مخاطرها أكثر ما بتعرض إلها هم العاملون في مجال معالجة النفايات في حال ما تم التخلص منها بطرق سليمة. ومن طرق التخلص الآمن منها disposed of in puncture resistant containers, sharp containers usually red or yellow، فهي توضع في حاويات صلبة مقاومة لأي ثقوب تسمى sharp container، عادة ما بيكون لونها أحمر أو أصفر. Processed through incineration or autoclave followed by safe landfill disposal.
4. Pathological waste includes tissues, organs, body parts, human fluids, and animal carcasses used in medical research or surgical procedures. Sources: pathological waste is often generated during surgeries, autopsies, biopsies, and anatomical studies. For instance, amputations or tumor excisions contribute to this waste stream. Risks: if not disposed of properly, it can lead to the spread of infections and pose ethical concerns. Pathogens from this waste can infect healthcare workers or the surrounding community. Disposal methods: common methods include incineration at high temperatures to ensure complete destruction, burial in specially designated sanitary landfills, or chemical treatment. Some countries require cremation or a respectful burial process for human remains. 5. Chemical waste consist of hazardous and non-hazardous chemicals used for medical, cleaning, and research purposes. Includes laboratory reagents, cleaning agents, solvents, and chemicals with toxic properties, such as mercury from broken thermometers or heavy metals in batteries. Risks: improper disposal can cause environmental pollution, contaminating water, soil, or air. Human exposure may lead to poisoning, burns, or long-term effects. Disposal methods: chemical waste must be categorized, e.g., flammable, corrosive, toxic, labeled and stored in safe containers. Proper neutralization, recycling, or incineration at specialized facilities is employed to minimize risks. 6. Pharmaceutical waste refers to expired, unused, contaminated, or partially used medications and vaccines. Sources: waste is generated in pharmacies, hospitals, healthcare centers, and homes. Examples include antibiotics, cytotoxic drugs, and narcotics. Risks: improper disposal, such as flushing medication down the drain, can contaminate water supplies and ecosystems. Some drugs, especially antibiotics, can foster antimicrobial resistance. Narcotics or controlled substances can also be misused if not handled responsibly. Disposal methods: disposal typically involves incineration at high temperatures and licensed facilities. Specific drugs like cytotoxic agents are handled through chemical deactivation. Public awareness campaigns also encourage safe drugs return program.
Let's talk about genotoxic waste, WHO Category 9. This waste can damage DNA like chemotherapy drugs, contaminated tools, or patient fluids after treatment. So, what are the risks? It can cause mutations, cancer, birth defects, and harm the environment. Now, let's look at how we dispose of it properly. Firstly, high temperature incineration above 1200 Celsius. It destroys all harmful substances completely by burning them. Secondly, chemical deactivation. It breaks down toxic chemicals to make them safe. Sealed containers. Waste is stored safely to avoid any leaks or contamination. Now let's move on to pressurized containers. These are gas cylinders like oxygen or nitrous oxide found in hospitals and labs. The risks: they can explode, cause oxygen shortages, and harm the environment. And here's how we safely dispose of them. Firstly, recycling and reuse by refilling and using again. This method is eco-friendly and cost-effective. Secondly, safe landfilling. Dispose of empty containers in non-flammable areas. Thirdly, controlled incineration by burning safely while managing harmful gas emissions. Next up, radioactive waste category 6. This comes from radiation therapy or diagnostic tools and stays dangerous for a long time. It can damage cells, cause cancer, and pollute the environment for years. Safe disposal methods include deep geological disposal by burying it deeply underground away from people and nature. Secondly, radioactive decay isolation by storing it securely and waiting for the radiation to fade. Thirdly, nuclear waste recycling by reusing some materials safely in other fields. Now, finally, let's take a quick look at what science says. WHO 2021 study: 50% of hospitals in developing countries don't follow proper waste disposal. MIT 2022 study: 10% of lab accidents involves gas cylinder explosions. IAEA 2022: 80% of radioactive medical waste needs long-term storage. These studies show how serious the issue is and why safe disposal matters for our health and the environment.
Hospital waste management in Gaza. Challenges under crisis. Hospital waste management is crucial for maintaining public health. But in Gaza, the ongoing crisis has made it nearly impossible to handle medical waste properly. With hospitals overwhelmed, essential resources limited, and waste disposal systems disturbed, healthcare workers face immense challenges in managing hospital waste. This issue not only affects the hospitals, but also poses serious risks to the entire community. To understand the crisis better, I'll explain the main challenges Gaza is facing in managing hospital waste. 1. Overwhelmed healthcare system. Hospitals in Gaza are operating beyond capacity, treating mass casualties with limited resources. Waste piles up faster than it can be managed, increasing the risk of infections and environmental hazards. 2. Lack of proper disposal facilities. Many waste treatment facilities, including incinerators, have been damaged or are inaccessible. Without proper disposal methods, hazardous waste is often left untreated or improperly discarded. Last, but certainly not least, shortage of essential supplies. Basic waste management tools like color-coded bins, disinfectants, and protective gear are in short supply. So, healthcare workers are forced to prioritize patient care over waste segregation, leading to unsafe handling of hazardous materials. The ongoing circumstances in Gaza have severely compromised hospital waste management, leading to significant public health risks. A recent World Health Organization report highlights that waste accumulation has created ideal conditions for disease outbreaks. As a result, cases of scabies, chickenpox, hepatitis A, respiratory infections, diarrheal diseases, and even polio have emerged, with the first polio case reported in Deir el-Balah in an unvaccinated child. These alarming statistics show the urgent need for immediate waste management solutions to prevent further disease spread and protect public health. Because even in crisis, finding sustainable waste management solutions is critical to protecting both the healthcare workers and the public.
Impact of hospital waste on public health. Transmission of infectious diseases. Medical waste contains pathogens such as bacteria and viruses that can cause serious diseases like hepatitis and the human immunodeficiency virus. النفايات الطبية فيها مسببات لأمراض معدية مثل البكتيريا والفيروسات اللي راح تسبب لأمراض خطيرة، أهمها وأخطرها الكبد الوبائي مرض نقص المناعة البشرية، مرض الإيدز. Improper disposal of contaminated needles and medical equipments can lead to bloodborne infections among healthcare workers and the public. التخلص الغير صحيح والغير سليم والخاطئ من النفايات الطبية مثل الإبر الملوثة وجميع المعدات الطبية الملوثة راح يؤدي لإصابة المجتمع وقطاع العاملين أولا بأمراض منقولة عن طريق الدم، مثلا الوقز عن طريق الإبر الملوثة بالخطأ راح يعمل لي أو يسبب لي أمراض خطيرة جدا منقولة عن طريق الدم. Environmental pollution and health effects. Incineration of medical waste releases toxic substances such as dioxins and furans, which can cause respiratory illness and cancer. التلوث البيئي وأثاره الصحية. من خلال بحثي عن الموضوع وجدت أن الطريقة الشائعة الغير صحيحة للتخلص من النفايات الطبية هي حرقها، وبالتالي رح يؤدي إلى انبعاث مواد سامة زي الديوكسينات والفورانات واللي رح تسبب لي بالغالب أمراض تنفسية وسرطانات عدا عن الأمراض الأخرى. Improper disposal of pharmaceutical chemicals contaminates groundwater, increasing the risk of waterborne diseases. بالإضافة أنه من إحدى الطرق اللي تستخدم للتخلص من النفايات الطبية هي إلقائها في المياه، وبالتالي رح يزيد من إمكانية وخطر الإصابة بالأمراض المنقولة عن طريق المياه. زائد رح يعمل التخلص الغير سليم من الأدوية الكيميائية على تلويث المياه الجوفية ومصادر المياه، واللي أيضا رح يسبب لي أمراض منقولة عن طريق المياه.
Effects on healthcare workers. Continuous exposure to untreated medical waste increases the risk of occupational infections. رح نتكلم عن التأثير على العاملين في قطاع الرعاية الصحية. أولا التعرض المستمر للهوسبيتال ويستس الغير معالجة رح يزيد من خطر الإصابة بالعدوى المهنية لأصحاب القطاع الصحي. Some healthcare workers suffer from chronic health conditions due to inhaling chemical fumes from incinerated medical waste. بعض العاملين في القطاع الصحي رح يعانوا من مشاكل صحية مزمنة بسبب استنشاق أبخرة كيميائية ناتجة عن حرق الهوسبيتال ويستس، أو كما ذكرت سابقا ممكن يصير وخز بالإبر الملوثة عن طريق الخطأ وغيرها من الاحتمالات الممكنة اللي رح تأثر على صحتهم وعلى حياتهم. Socio-economic impacts. The rise in diseases related to medical waste increases the financial burden on healthcare system. التأثيرات الاجتماعية والاقتصادية. ارتفاع معدل الأمراض المرتبطة بالهوسبيتال ويست رح يؤدي إلى زيادة العبء المالي على أنظمة الرعاية الصحية. Environmental degradation caused by poor medical waste management negatively impacts the quality of life in affected communities. سوء إدارة النفايات الطبية حيعمل إلى تدهور البيئة ورح يؤثر سلباً على جودة الحياة في المجتمعات المتضررة.
Okay, simple rule in medical waste disposal. Proper segregation, implementing color-coded disposal systems to separate hazardous and non-hazardous waste, safe disposal methods utilizing autoclaving, incineration, and chemical disinfection for hazardous waste. Training programs educating healthcare workers and waste handlers on proper waste disposal practices, recycling and sustainability, encouraging the use of eco-friendly alternatives and safe recycling techniques. Now we talk about helpful recommendations. Governments should allocate more funds for medical waste management infrastructure. Hospitals and clinics must implement strict waste segregation and disposal protocols. Awareness campaigns should be conducted to educate communities about the risks of improper medical waste disposal, strengthening international cooperation to develop sustainable waste management technologies. At the end, be a part of the solution, not part of the pollution. Thank you for listening.